their goaltending is right there with the good teams in the league. So if they can get both of them going, Reimer's not the answer. Look, you love Reimer for the career he's had, but that's got to be a very, very short-term situation. And they've got to have great goaltending right out of the chute. You don't want to get behind. You don't want to get behind. You know, I mean, we always say it. The first 20 games, if you're not in the playoffs, you're toast. 90% of the time, that's the case. So we'll see what happens.
All right.
By the way, I watched my old host, Jeff Merrick. He's wearing sunglasses now on the show. I've got the tints going, but they're not full on dark like Merrick. Is that a new thing with TV guys now, or what?
You should call him and ask him.
By the way,
Sam says Merrick was outside, Doug.
Just a correction. Berkey and he were on the other day. Just a simple correction. They talked about they were talking about wealthy owners and what it's like to deal with owners, and they asked what was the price Columbus and Minnesota paid for their expansion fee when they came in the NHL, and they said it was $200 million. Columbus and Minnesota paid $80 million for their franchises in the year 2000, not $200 million. And I looked the other day, I looked it up. Columbus are now worth a little over $1 billion.
And Kaprizov's going to get $80 million a year. So dollar figures have changed around the league.
Well, Leopold said we're not going to lose him. We're going to pay him. So I would have probably waited till the contract was almost done before I said that. But anyway, that happens.
Mac, do you see him turning down 16 but taking 18 million and everybody living happily ever after? Is that just as simple as that?
You know what? Are we moving in to the LeBron James era where LeBron goes to Cleveland, obviously plays in Cleveland, doesn't win in Cleveland, and finally moves on to Miami where he wins the championship. Then he goes to LA where he wins it was a bubble championship, but he still won. And then he goes back to Cleveland and wins in Cleveland. I mean, are we in this thing now where if these superstars are going to say, I want to go where I've got a legitimate chance to win a cup? If you're going to have all that pressure on them, don't you go where you have the best chance to win? I hope he signs in Edmonton. I hope Kaprizov signs in Minnie, but they will be short-term deals in my opinion.
So we've gone this far and haven't talked about the Connor McDavid situation. Are you of the belief that he'll stay in Edmonton?
I don't know. I'm really surprised that it hasn't happened.
You're paid to know on this show.
Or at least pretend.
I think he does a short-term deal, but I don't think he ties up long-term. I think he's going to watch this. And Connor McDavid has got to win a Stanley Cup in his career. And, if he doesn't win a Stanley Cup, he's not going to be perceived as one of the greatest players in the history of the game. He's not. As simple as that, because a lot of it is now tied to winning. And, can he win? He'll make an observation if they're good enough to win. By the same token, Connor McDavid scored 7 goals last year in the playoffs. 7. That's not enough. If you're trying to lead your team to win a Stanley Cup, now he had a lot of assists, but 7 goals, he's got to do better than that. And he's obviously very capable of it. But
so
I was surprised.
What is the bat signal for him to be comfortable to sign a short-term deal compared to July 1st? What is that? A new goalie? A better defenseman? Isaac Howard getting off to a great start? Like, what is it?
I don't know what it is, to be quite honest. It's a tough question because, when I listen to him, I don't know him, but I really admire him as a player and what he does, the way he plays the game. I don't know what it is. I think he wants to believe they're a big time contender. That's what I think. That's what I think he wants to see. A big time contender. And
they are already 2 Stanley Cup finals. That's been covered. Now, there's a big difference between teams that are competitive for the Stanley Cup and then actually winning it, but nobody knows what that difference is. Is it one player, two players, or is it all of them collectively just playing better?
You can go somewhere else and be in the same boat. I mean, you could go to 5 teams you think are better than Edmonton and be in the same boat and not win. That's you were on a Stanley Cup champion. It's a major hurdle to overcome.
Crapshoot. That's what it is. Just roll the dice.
Yeah, you're in one of the few teams that can do it. One of 5.
One of 5.
That's
one of
what
6.
You've got to be. That's where you got to be. And today, you would say he is. Now, are they close to Florida today? No, they're not close to Florida. If Barkov's healthy, they're not close to Florida again. But who else is? Who else in the league is? I got Tampa Bay as one of the closest teams still to Tampa Bay.
Lots to like
and after
there.
that, there's not many in the league that are.
Well, we're hitting on all the big ones. What about your boy? You got an East Coast champ there in Sidney Crosby, whose name's coming up. His agent's talking about him. I'm sure you and Sid have had some scotches late at night this summer, heart to hearts, and he's told you what's going on. Well, what are you learning?
I can't say, guys. I just can't. I haven't seen him. I'll tell you what. And tell me I'm crazy. And I was thinking.
We will for sure,
today.
but go on.
He's still a top 10 player in the world. Sidney Crosby, top 10 player in the world. That. And at Christmas, if they're going nowhere, which I suspect they'll be, I've got to believe he's walking in the office and asking, "Here's my teams. I want to be traded." I would suspect that's what's going to be the case if Pittsburgh really stumbles. I've got to believe Sid wants to win another championship, and he's still that good. That good.
It'll be set up after the Olympics. That's what I'm
So we're
predicting.
talking February 28th to March 7th.
Between February and March, I think we'll have I think the legwork should be done by then.
Doug talked to Montreal needing a 2C.
I don't want to be an insider on this show, guys. I'm on here for knowledge, not an insider. Okay, if you want an insider, bring Elliot on. I'm more of a hockey purist.
Or critic.
I'm not an insider.
Or podcast critic.
A hockey critic's a good label. Doug McLean, hockey critic. It's the title of your next book there, Grisham.
And you do have a book, don't you? You working on something else now? Is that Draft Day? Bestseller.
Draft Day. By the way, it's still selling. I just got a royalty check the other day. Anyway.
So we are paying you in some way. You're benefiting from our show.
I like the new book. I interviewed 25 guys this summer, GMs, current GMs, former GMs, and hockey people all summer. And I think it's going to be a fun book. It's it's really a day. I don't have a title for you yet, but a day in the life of an NHL GM. I think it's going to be pretty good, actually. So I've had some great chats with a lot of great guys.
And tell us about the ones that just hang up on you right away. They all can't be great calls. Knowing you, they can't all be great calls. There's got to be a few that go click.
You know what? I found out that a couple people hate my guts.
We all learned that along the way.
Care to share which ones?
No, I can't. I was caught off guard by it, but anyway,
now there's shocking news.
I wish him well. I hope he doesn't use me as a reference, but I guarantee he won't.
Good to know. So, talking about the Oilers and Stanley Cup contention, they have Calvin Pickard, and they let Ingram go through waivers the other day. Any thoughts on if they should have grabbed Ingram there?
No, I wouldn't. No, I still think they have, I think they've got to do better than that. But, I mean, look, he was fine last year. Just on that, I've got the 2 most improved teams in the NHL this year, Utah and Anaheim. Utah have got they've got a lot of good things going on with that team and the organization. And I'll tell you what, if Anaheim get the kid signed, that's holding out, they're going to be a tough out, Anaheim. I think Q will help there big time as far as more of a defensive style game. And I think Utah and Anaheim are going to make some noise in the West. I really do.
Can I ask you about Winnipeg and Jonathan Taves and being off for a couple of years and coming in? A commitment of $7 million. I know only 2 of it is on the AAV, but he does have bonuses of $5 million here. And what you expect out of, I guess, a 37-year-old who's been off for 2 years?
Look, Jonathan Taves may have been my favorite player over a 12-year run in the NHL for what he accomplished in Chicago, how he carried himself. I remember watching him play in his draft year. I was sick to my stomach when I didn't get him. We were praying we'd get him or Stahl or one of those big centermen, Anyway, we got Brassard, who played 1,000 games, but big drop-off after 3 or 4. But I love Jonathan Taves. I like the signing. I think Edmonton need a little bit of, or Winnipeg need a little bit of that. They got Kyle Connor, they got Scheifele. Leadership, to me, has been a bit of a void with that group there. I think it's been a little bit of a void there. And I think that Jonathan Taves, I've got to believe that as long as he can play, he's going to garner a ton of respect in that room. And I think it could be a good pickup for Chevy. I like it.
Yeah, I do believe he gives them a real presence, right?
Yep. And I think they need it, too. I think they need it when you're a team like them, especially after the year they had last year. It's a little bit like Washington. You have a big year like that, big expectations to come back and be a top team in the regular season, but do some damage in the playoffs. So I see them right there. Kyle Connor's a heck of a player.
I think he can help Hellebuck, too, around April.
Yeah.
I think his influence can really help Connor.
For his sake, he's feeling good, right? Who knows?
I don't know about your show this year, boys. You seem to be taking things way too serious. I don't know. I don't know if I like it.
Have you been watching the Blue Jays? Okay, that's come on.
It's life and death around here.
Yes. We're hanging on by a thread here.
How are they doing?
Well, they big win last night.
I see people on Twitter going nuts with, they're mad when they don't hit. Anyway, I hope they get in. I really, really hope they go as long as they can, and that means I'm on this show less, right?
If they go deep.
We don't really know what it means.
Yeah, we honestly, we're not sure. We're just cheering for them.
Playing it by ear. Anything else you want to get off your chest?
No, I don't think so. I think, I was disappointed to see Montreal kid get injured. Demitov, I'm anxious to see what he becomes. They're raving about Montreal. It will be interesting to see how they bounce back. Dobson, I'm really interested in. He's a Summerside kid. Anxious to see how he's going to play. I see he got injured last night, so hopefully he's going to bounce back and have a solid year.
How about your buddy Kenny Holland in L.A. now with the clock ticking on Kopitar and replacing him?
I just want Kopitar to retire and go away. That's all I want.
Oh no! How come?
Why?
Because I'm still
okay. Yeah.
Because I'm still in trouble for not drafting him. I just want to see